now that you've had some time to reflect on the season, what do you kind of make of the way things kind of ended there, kind of the season as a whole?
Well, season as a whole, I think we had a great season. I think on the micro, the most highlighted end of the season, postseason, certainly a failure. Very disappointing. I think, for me, for the organization, it took us a while to get over that one. You look back and you're trying to figure out what you could have done potentially to affect the outcome. I've stopped playing that game and really sort of trying to be present and look forward towards 23. But you're always trying to get better, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Do you just look at that outcome as just kind of a result of kind of the variance of the postseason, or do you think you guys have an October problem?
So I don't think we have an October problem. I think that last year in particular, to take 4 or 5 days off, I think I'm proud of the fact that we didn't harp on it going into it, but it's certainly not ideal. It's different rhythm than we're used to, and that's with any ball club that would have to go through it. But could I say that if it was a less of a layoff, would the result be any different? I don't know that answer. I know that I felt we were prepared going into it, and we lost a short series. And so I don't think, Dylan, there's a postseason problem. I think I still stand by it's about teams that are playing their best baseball at the right point in time. And I guess if you look at not winning a championship in 6 of the 7 years, I guess then if you kind of look at it that way, then we've only done that 1 out of 6. But I still think that we've had success in the postseason. But with that said, we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, one thing that has served you guys well, right, is you have a lot of guys that are kind of even keel. Like Mookie on the elimination day was kind of like, hey, it's just another game kind of thing. I'm just kind of wondering, though, maybe in October, you kind of need, to kind of have that NFL Sunday type mindset, I guess, with something like that.
I think there's some truth to that. As a manager, you never want to say that somebody wants it more than you, because I think that speaks to the preparation part of it, the mental part of it. But I will say that, you look at that dugout versus our dugout, there was more intensity there. And so not asking guys to be outside of who they are, but that sense of the ultimate sense of urgency each pitch, I think that we're going to make sure that that's noted, because I do think the retrospect, the postmortem, kind of looking at it, I sensed it, and so that part of it, I think that I've got to certainly take ownership of for sure.
What do you think led to winner? Maybe to go out and find that.
I think that's more, not necessarily, I think the personnel was there. I think it's more of bringing that message to light, and that's my job.
That urgency, do you think that part of it was just you guys clinched so early, there was so much time building in?
I don't think so. I felt we played good baseball throughout September. We won Game 1. I thought Game 2, offensively, we were really good. It just didn't work. I thought we swung the bats well that day, that night. I thought we played well enough to win, and then it just kind of went south the last 2. So I don't think that had any. I just don't. I don't think so.
Are there things that popped up either in this series or other Octobers that you guys didn't win, and you reflect that you kind of look at and pinpoint and say this is something that when you look ahead to next year, we can do better, we can change the way, whether it's the prep or the messaging or just whatever?
I just think it's the whole overarching urgency. I really do. Not literally, but the mindset of do or die. I think that that's something that if I could kind of look back, you know, there's plays that could have flipped a game or a series, certainly. And I don't want to kind of speak specific to the pitching or the defense or the at-bat situationally, but if you look back, you know, if we had that sort of mindset, I think that results might have been a little bit different.
So far, the way this offseason's unfolded, probably the most roster turnaround you've had in your tenure. Is that going to be strange for you to not see some faces like Cody's and stuff in that locker room, and how are you going to adjust to it?
We're going to adjust. I just learned of this Cody situation, and I'm excited for Cody. He was very good for me. He was a very good Dodger. He grew a lot, and I wish him well, and I'm very grateful to be able to manage him for 6 years. We've got a lot of talent coming on the position player side, on the pitching side, and I think a little bit things are going to look a little different, but a lot of it's still going to be the same. And also, I just believe, and Andrew and I and the organization believe, that there's some young players that need a little room to, some runway and some opportunities, and so they're going to have that, you know, at some point in time this season on both position player and the pitching side. So I think that's a good thing for us. But the idea that our goal is to put together a championship ball club, that doesn't change.
Danny, you talking about just the talent that you have, the young talent you have, but Trace Thompson, what you thought about his season, and what are you looking forward to him improving upon as he gets ready for the 2023 season?
I think that's an easy one. Trace is a high character guy, tremendous athlete, earned his way back on the radar as a big league ball player. Expect more big things out of him. I think the easy one is he was considerably better versus right this year. So I think that's something that I don't think anyone, you know, saw happening, but I think that's something that's going to be front of mind for him this winter. Just saw him recently. Looks great. He's focused. He's ready, which is no surprise. And expect him to kind of play all three next year.
To go back to Cody, how confident are you that he could be back to the same player that he once was?
Who's that, Trace?
Cody.
Very confident. I think it's. I don't think the skill set's changed. Certainly, he's motivated. Maybe a change of scenery will be beneficial. I know David Ross. I know Jed. So the environment's going to be good for him. And again, I wish nothing but the best for Cody.
Do you feel like you guys need to add an outfielder now?
Yeah, we're gonna add an outfielder.
Recognizing that things might change between now and opening day, will you be comfortable if Gavin Lux is your opening day shortstop?
Absolutely. And I'm not going to say, we're not at a point right now where we need to, you know, say he's our shortstop. But as far as if it plays out as such, absolutely. Gavin's gotten better every year. That's his natural position. But just having the flexibility to have him at third or at second, if we need, I think helps the ball club. And Gavin's open to that. But certainly if, you know, Gavin takes down everyday shortstop innings, then I've got no problem with that.
How likely do you think that is right now, that that's how it shakes out?
Gosh, you know, there's a lot of good players left on the board. So I don't know how, you know, what direction we're going to go as far as allocating, you know, dollars or players to the pitching, to the outfield, to the infield. So I just really, it wouldn't be an honest or an accurate answer right now, Jack.
He's had throwing issues, even from second base, but even the minors from shortstop across the diamond. Are those throwing accuracy issues rectified in your mind?
I think so. I think so. I think the thing is about with anyone throwing, in my opinion, it's footwork, and that's something that Gavin has worked really hard on, and has really done a great job cleaning that up. And I would argue that throws from the other side of the diamond are easier for him versus playing on the right side of the diamond. So I think it's a non-issue, and I think Freddie specifically on the preparation each day, the glove work, Dino, our infield coach, specifically, Gavin took to both those guys and got considerably better. So I trust the player and I trust the guy.
You mentioned young players. Miguel Vargas came up end of last third baseman? What do you see from him next year?
I expect Miguel Vargas to have an impact on our club. At what position, I can't really speak to right now, in the same vein of where Gavin's going to play next year. There's a lot of things to still do, but he's at the ballpark, this week, trying to get better. So Miguel Vargas is going to be very exciting for all of us. I'm excited about Miguel.
And with the outfield, do you think it needs to be a center fielder? You say you're going to add an outfielder.
I would say somebody that can, manage center field is probably a top priority. Yeah.
Talk about the kind of like the lack of urgency there. Do you think that came from the break? Was it a function of you guys just kicking their butt so badly in the regular season?
No, because I think that each time we face those guys, I just felt that it was going to be a good fight, and it turned out to be. So I don't think there was complacency as far as what happened in the regular. I don't believe that. I think that in each isolated game, I just felt that we could have done more. There were some plays that could have been made, or some at bats that could have been better, that could have flipped it, but it didn't happen, and that's something that I have to learn from. We all have to learn from.
I mean, you were kind of one of those guys, right? A seize the moment type of player. And you talk about how you think that it's here in this group. That they don't change who you are. How do you kind of coax that out of a guy where it's not, again, these guys aren't Dave Roberts guys.
They're a lot better baseball players.
different mindset, right? How do you kind of coax it out of these types of?
Yeah, I think it's a fair topic. I think we do a very good job in the regular season of, preparing each game, washing away good, washing away bad, trying to win a ball game. But certainly, the postseason has to be, the intensity is certainly things. It's higher stakes, and in one school you want to continue to do what you've always done because you've had success, but appreciating the stakes are different. I think that's a fair question, and that's something that I don't know if there's an exact answer, but I do think that heightening the intensity is something that we need to do a better job at, and that starts with me, and I can do better.
With the road,
Did perform.
What's that?
Freddie Freeman did. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Are there a guy or two in that clubhouse that you feel can kind of be the catalyst of that thing?
I think the reason Freddie hit, because it's kind of and that's what he's done his entire career, and in the regular season, he doesn't take a pitch off. And so, and that translates to any situation. And so for him to have success was no surprise to me. How do we get that to filter throughout the clubhouse? That's the question. But that's something that, we're going to talk about quite a bit.
with the rotation.
Rebuilding club can throw in 4, 5, 6 young kids because they're rebuilding. How many kids can you guys reasonably expect to play prominent roles and still contend for the World Series?
So I think that I would argue and say that each year we've had 4, 5, or 6 quote-unquote kids that have impacted our ball club. And I'm not saying at the beginning of the year, but at each year that I've been here, at certain times, guys have come in and impacted our ball club. So I don't think it's too much of a reach to say that 5 or 6 young kids, young ball players, are going to impact our ball club. Is it safe to say Miguel Vargas is going to be there sooner than those other guys? Sure. But there's a good group that I really feel that are going to impact our club this year.
You talked about that in the context of position players. You were out, Anderson leaving. What role do you envision Hepio, Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, that trio of arms playing?
Well, Ryan did a lot of growth this year. I think he did a nice job. I think Michael Grove in the short samples did a really nice job. He's going to be in play. I think Bobby Miller, as far as stuff, we've all heard about it. Love to compete, love the body, the head. We're going to see him this year. We're going to see Bobby this year. How much? That's up to him. a guy that's really interesting that we're going to be talking a lot about going forward is Gavin Stone. Got a chance to see him a little bit before the postseason and talk to him, and he's a special young talent, makeup. And then you're talking about, Andre Jackson, who finished strong for us. So we've got some guys in the hopper that I know that are going to be able to backfill on the pitching side.
And you still expect to add more rotation depth this winter too?
Yeah. I mean, and there's some certain guys that are off the board, obviously, but we're still looking, and we got a long way to go.
Can you do it similar to how you guys did this past year, where you find guys like Anderson or Heaney or more flyers, see if they develop, or do you need someone who's maybe a little more established?
I think what we did with Tyler sort of makes sense for this offseason. Yeah.
You mentioned
One of the really good players that are still out there is a guy named Correa. And we know there's a lot of scars in the fan base from 2017. How do you think how would he impact the clubhouse? Do you think that's something that you would have to address?
You want to ask, does that go to Dylan or is that to me?
That's for you. I don't care about Dylan. Dylan's got enough for his column.
Carlos is a heck of a ball player. So I don't know that answer. What I do know is that we're about winning baseball games, and our fan base is about winning baseball games, but I don't know how this season will play out, but he's a heck of a ball player.
Have you
Would
guys
you address him?
That's all I'm going to say about that one.
That's fine.
What do you got, Jack? See, now you end the interview, see?
Have you guys addressed, talked about that internally? If that's
We have not talked about the potential narrative. No, we haven't. Thanks, guys.